you enjoying the show, or enjoying her?" The word slipped softly from Rose's lips, swallowed instantly by the thunderous bass shaking the stadium. 70,000 fans screamed hysterically as Bruno flashed his dazzling smile at the camera, reaching for the hand of a famous model invited on stage as part of the performance. Laser lights sliced through the night sky. Fireworks exploded like a heart bursting into pieces. Rose stood behind the stage, wearing a production headset, pretending to look professional. Her hands were cold, her breathing uneven. She was used to this glittering world, beautiful women, relentless cameras, rumors that never slept. But tonight felt different. There was something in Bruno's gaze when he laughed with the model. Too long, too warm. Just 2 hours earlier, in a dim dressing room, Bruno had kissed her forehead and whispered, "Wait for me when I'm done. I'm yours tonight." Rose wanted to believe him. She always wanted to believe him. Their lives had unfolded like episodes in a drama without a script. They had never officially announced their relationship. Too much was at stake: careers, public image, massive contracts. Their love survived in dark corridors, behind locked studio doors, inside cars with tinted windows. Rose was not weak. She had learned to stand alone. When her father left at 9 years old, he took more than his suitcase. He took her belief in permanence. She grew up thinking love always comes with an expiration date, so she built walls, even with Bruno. But Bruno was different. Stubborn, ambitious, effortlessly confident under flashing cameras. Yet in quiet nights with only a piano and the scent of polished wood in the studio, he became a man afraid of being abandoned. Once he told her, "Everyone loves Bruno Mars, but I don't know who stays for Peter." Peter, his real name, was the side few ever saw. Rose saw him. That night, as the crowd roared louder, Rose felt herself shrinking. The model hugged Bruno longer than necessary. The giant screens magnified their smiles. Twitter exploded within seconds. The world adored him. The world claimed him. And Rose was just a shadow. She slowly removed her headset. Her heart trembled, not from the music, but from decision. She didn't want to be a secret forever. She didn't want to love someone who had to pretend she didn't exist every night in front of millions. Without saying goodbye, she walked toward the stadium's back exit. The smell of hot asphalt mixed with popcorn and lingering fireworks smoke. The city's sky reflected pink from the stage lights. Each step felt like betraying herself. Inside the stadium, Bruno prepared to sing a new song, unreleased. Written 3 weeks ago after their worst fight in the studio, the night Rose said, "I'm tired of feeling alone next to you." He sat at the piano. The stage lights dimmed, leaving one white spotlight above him. The roaring crowd softened into tense silence. Bruno inhaled deeply. Meanwhile, Rose was almost at the gate when the first piano note stopped her. Soft, fragile, a melody she recognized. She had heard it at 3 a.m. when Bruno played it while watching her with exhausted eyes. She froze. His voice sounded different tonight. Not flamboyant, not stylish, but raw, honest, slightly trembling. This song is about someone who thinks she's invisible. Rose closed her eyes. The first lyrics poured out like confession, about a woman standing behind the light, loving without ever hearing her name spoken, about fear of losing someone because she was hidden too long, about a foolish man who nearly lost his home. Tears fell without permission. Midway through the song, Bruno paused. The camera zoomed in. He wasn't smiling, he looked scared. Then he sang the line that made time stop. "You're not my secret, you're my reason." It was the same sentence he had whispered months ago when Rose suffered a panic attack. Words never spoken publicly before. She sobbed. The stadium erupted in applause, but she couldn't hear it, only her heartbeat. The song wasn't just music. It was apology, confession, sacrifice. Bruno stood, gripping the microphone. "I've been afraid," he admitted, voice rough. "Afraid that if the world knows what I love most, they'll try to take it away. But hiding her almost made me lose her." Rose's knees nearly gave out. She had never asked for a grand declaration. She only wanted to be seen, chosen. Bruno looked toward the side stage where she usually stood. If you're still here, don't walk away. I'm done being a coward." Silence blanketed the stadium before the cheers exploded again. Rose stood between shadow and light. The decision felt different now, not about wounded pride, but about courage. She walked back slowly, each step crossing the line between fear and faith. When she appeared at the side of the stage, Bruno saw her. For the first time that night, his smile was real, the smile of a man who had nearly lost everything. He stepped off the stage, ignoring security protocol. Cameras followed every move. The world watched. Rose trembled, not from jealousy anymore, but from love finally standing in the same light. Bruno stopped in front of her. No long speech, no excessive drama, just an embrace, not hidden, not secret, open, undeniable. The crowd screamed louder than ever. Rose buried her face in his chest, inhaling the familiar scent of his cologne mixed with stage sweat, the scent that had always felt like home. "You're an idiot," she whispered through tears. "I know," Bruno replied softly, "but I'm yours." The spotlight now shone on both of them. Their love wasn't perfect. Fear still existed. Risks remained. The world would talk. Rumors would spread. But that night, beneath the glare that almost tore them apart, Bruno chose not to hide anymore. The stadium lights had barely cooled when the world outside exploded. "Are you out of your mind?" Rose's voice cut through the silence of the black SUV as it sped away from the venue. Her tears had dried, but her eyes still burned. "You don't just announce something like that in front of 70,000 people and every camera on Earth." Bruno ran a trembling hand through his hair, the adrenaline still pulsing in his veins. "So what was I supposed to do? Let you walk away? Pretend you don't exist again?" "You think this fixes everything," she shot back. "You think one song erases years of hiding." The city lights streaked past the windows like fragments of a life moving too fast to control. Inside the car, the air was thick, charged not with romance, but with the kind of tension that could either break them or bind them forever. "I didn't hide you because I was ashamed," Bruno said, his voice low but fierce. "I hid us because I was scared." "Scared of what?" she demanded. "Of losing you to the noise, to the headlines, to people who think they own every part of me." Rose laughed bitterly. "They already do." The SUV stopped at a red light. Outside, fans were still flooding the streets, screaming his name. Phones were already buzzing with notifications. Social media had caught fire. Some were calling it the most romantic confession in pop history. Others were calling it a publicity stunt. A few were calling her a manipulator. Bruno's phone vibrated again and again in his lap. He didn't look at it. Rose did. Her name was already trending. "You've dragged me into a war," she whispered. He turned to her, eyes blazing, not with anger but with something rower. "No, I brought you into the light." "That's not the same thing." The silence that followed wasn't gentle. It was sharp, cutting through everything left unsaid. When they reached the hotel, security escorted them through a private entrance. Even there, flashes from distant paparazzi cracked like gunshots. The door shut behind them with a heavy thud. Inside the suite, the world felt smaller, but no less intense. Rose walked straight to the window, staring down at the chaos below. "You should have warned me." "If I warned you, you would have stopped me," Bruno replied. "Exactly." He stepped closer, his reflection overlapping hers in the glass. "Do you know what it felt like up there? Watching you disappear, I thought I'd already lost you." "You almost did." Those 3 words landed harder than any insult. He turned her gently by the shoulders. "Look at me." She resisted for a second, then finally did. Her eyes were glossy but fierce. She wasn't fragile, she was furious, hurt, terrified. "You don't get to decide for both of us," she said, her voice shaking. "You don't get to sacrifice my peace for your grand gesture. And you don't get to walk away without fighting for us," he shot back. The room seemed to shrink around them. "You want to fight," she challenged. "Then fight the contracts. Fight the label that told you to stay single. Fight the managers who said relationships ruin fantasy. Fight them, not me. Bruno's jaw tightened. I've been fighting them for years. Not hard enough. The words hit like a slap. He stepped back as if physically struck. You think this is easy for me. You think I enjoy smiling next to women I don't care about while the only one I want is hiding in the shadows. Then stop doing it. I can't just walk away from everything overnight. Maybe I can, she whispered. The possibility hung between them like a loaded weapon. Bruno felt something primal rise in his chest. Don't say that. I'm serious, she continued, voice trembling but resolute. I love you, but I refuse to disappear for you. He crossed the room in 2 strides and caught her wrist, not painfully, but desperately. You won't disappear, not again. Her breath hitched, again. His grip softened. I watched my mom disappear, he admitted quietly. Not physically, emotionally. She loved someone who chose the stage over her. I promised myself I would never be that man. Rose's anger faltered. You think I don't see the pattern? He continued, voice cracking. Every time I choose silence, I see her face. I see what happens when love gets put second. She studied him differently now. The superstar mask was gone. In its place stood a boy still trying to outrun an old wound. You should have told me that, she said softly. I didn't want to sound weak. You're not weak, she replied. You're scared. Of losing you, he said without hesitation. The confession lingered in the air, heavy and honest. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and froze. What? Bruno asked. She turned it toward him. A headline flashed across every major entertainment site. Bruno Mars publicly confesses love, secret girlfriend identified. Below it was a picture of them leaving a studio months ago. Grainy, intimate. They've been watching, she murmured. Bruno exhaled sharply. Let them. You say that now, she replied. Wait until endorsements start pulling out, until fans feel betrayed. I don't belong to them, he said firmly. But they think you do. The knock at the suite door made them both jump. His manager. Bruno opened it to a storm. What the hell was that? The manager exploded, stepping inside. Do you realize what you've just done? I told the truth, Bruno answered calmly. You jeopardized millions. Rose stiffened. The manager's eyes flicked to her. And you, are you happy now? Bruno stepped between them instantly. Don't. I warned you, the manager continued. Mystery sells, fantasy sells, you just shattered it. Good, Bruno said coldly. I'm tired of selling a lie. The confrontation escalated, voices rising, accusations flying. Contracts were mentioned, tour sponsors, morality clauses. Rose felt the ground shift beneath her. This wasn't just emotional anymore. It was business. Power, control. If you force him to choose, she said suddenly, surprising even herself, make sure you're ready for the answer. The room fell silent. The manager studied Bruno carefully. Is she worth it? Bruno didn't hesitate. Yes. The word was simple, absolute. The manager scoffed. You'll regret this. Maybe, Bruno replied, but I'll regret losing her more. After the door slammed shut, the suite felt eerily quiet. Rose looked at him differently now, not as a star, not as a coward, but as a man standing at the edge of everything he built. You just set your world on fire, she whispered. He stepped closer, cupping her face gently. Then we'll build a new one. Her heartbeat pounded in her ears. You're terrifying when you're brave. He gave a small, tired smile. You're terrifying when you're about to leave. She searched his face for doubt. There was none. The tension between them shifted, still intense but no longer sharp. It pulsed with something deeper, shared risk, shared rebellion. You don't get to hide me anymore, she said. I won't. You don't get to make decisions alone. I won't. And if this destroys everything. He leaned his forehead against hers, his voice barely above a whisper. Then at least we'll know we chose each other. Outside, the world was still screaming. Online debates raged. Fans were divided. Critics sharpened their knives. Inside that room, beneath the fatting echo of a stadium confession, two people stood at the fragile beginning of something far more dangerous than jealousy. Not secrecy, not scandal, but a love finally willing to survive the spotlight instead of hiding from it. The first glass shattered at 8:12 a.m. Rose flinched as the sound exploded across the hotel's suite. Bruno's phone had hit the wall hard enough to crack both the screen and the silence they had barely managed to keep through the night. "Say it again." Bruno's voice was low, dangerous, directed at the man speaking through the speakerphone. "I'm saying the Tokyo sponsor just pulled out," his manager replied sharply. "They're calling it brand misalignment. Overnight, Bruno, overnight." Rose stood near the dining table, arms folded tightly across her chest, watching the storm unfold. She hadn't slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw headlines multiplying like fire. Bruno dragged a hand down his face. "They're panicking. They're protecting their money," the manager snapped. "And right now you look unstable. Public declarations, emotional speeches." "I fell in love, not off a cliff." "You think investors care about that?" Rose stepped closer. "Maybe they should." The manager went silent for half a second. "This isn't your lane." Bruno's jaw tightened. "Careful." "I'm just saying she doesn't understand the industry." Rose let out a hollow laugh. "I understand it better than you think. I've watched him shrink himself for it." "Rose," Bruno warned softly, but she didn't stop. "You built an empire around fantasy," she continued, her voice steady but burning. "You sold mystery like it was oxygen, but you forgot he's a human being. And you," the manager shot back, "are costing him millions." The words hit the room like a slap. Bruno stepped forward. "That's enough." "Is it?" the manager challenged. "Because numbers don't lie. Ticket resale is spiking. Fan forums are in chaos. Half of them are heartbroken. The other half are accusing you of hiding her for publicity. This could spiral." Rose felt something twist in her stomach. "Maybe I should step away," she whispered. Bruno turned sharply. "No." "You heard him." "I don't care." "But I do," she insisted. "I don't want to be the reason everything burns." He walked toward her, his expression fierce. "You're not a reason, you're my choice." "Choice doesn't pay legal fees," she replied quietly. The manager seized the opening. "Exactly. Bruno, we need damage control, a statement, something controlled, neutral. Maybe emphasize that it's new, spontaneous, keep it light." "It's not new," Bruno said flatly. "Then lie." The air changed. Rose saw it in Bruno's eyes, the line being crossed. "I'm not lying again," he said. "You think honesty wins in this business?" the manager demanded. "Honesty is a luxury." "No," Bruno replied coldly. "It's a backbone." The call ended abruptly. Silence swallowed the sweet. Rose looked at the shattered phone on the floor. "You didn't have to hang up." "Yes, I did." She moved toward the couch, sitting slowly as if her legs might give out. "This is bigger than us now." Bruno knelt in front of her, taking her hands. "It's always been us." "You don't know that," she said, her voice trembling. "You've never had to choose before." He leaned closer. "I'm choosing now." Her breath caught. "And if the choice ruins you?" He gave a faint, almost reckless smile. "Then I'll write a better album." She shook her head, half exasperated, half devastated. "You can't turn everything into a lyric." "I'm not," he whispered. "I'm telling you I'd rather lose money than lose you." Her defenses cracked slightly. But before she could respond, her own phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. She opened it and froze. It was a video clip. Bruno backstage 2 months ago, laughing, hugging the same model from last night. Too close, too intimate. The caption read, "You think you're the only one." Her pulse roared in her ears. "What is it?" Bruno asked. She turned the phone toward him slowly. His expression darkened. "That's old." "It looks recent." "It's not what you think." "Isn't it?" she shot back, standing abruptly. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like I'm the only one who didn't know the full story. It was rehearsals, he insisted. Staged chemistry for the show. She's not part of the Tokyo leg. He hesitated for half a second. That was enough. Rose stepped back as if burned. You didn't tell me. Because it didn't matter. It matters to me. The tension snapped tight. Do you trust me? He demanded. Do you give me a reason to? His eyes flashed. After last night, you're questioning that. I'm questioning everything, she shouted. You don't get to confess your love in front of the world and still keep secrets from me. He stood, towering but shaken. I didn't tell you because I knew you react like this. So now my feelings are the problem. No, your fear is. My fear, she repeated incredulously. You've built our entire relationship on secrecy. And I just tore that down. Because you were afraid of losing me, not because you were ready. The words sliced deeper than she intended. He stared at her, as if she had struck something fragile inside him. You think I'm not ready? He asked quietly. I think you're reacting, she said, her voice breaking, not leading. The accusation lingered heavily. Another buzz. This time from social media. The video had already leaked publicly. Within minutes, speculation exploded. Bruno's secret girlfriend not so secret. Triangle scandal. Rose felt the walls closing in. He stepped toward her again, softer now. Look at me. She didn't. Rose. Her eyes lifted reluctantly. There has never been anyone else, he said firmly. Not emotionally, not physically. The rest is choreography. Choreography doesn't send me anonymous threats. His face hardened. What threats? She showed him another message. Stay away from him. Something inside him shifted from defensive to protective in an instant. Who sent this? I don't know. His jaw flexed. This is exactly what I was afraid of. So you hid me to protect me, she challenged. Yes. And you think hiding doesn't hurt. He exhaled sharply, packing now. You want honesty? Here it is. I've watched careers implode over less. I've seen fans turn vicious. I thought if I kept us quiet, I could control the damage. You can't control obsession, she said softly. He stopped packing. She continued, her voice trembling but clear. You can't control people who think they own you. You can't control the headlines. You can't control jealousy. But you can control whether I stand next to you openly or alone in the dark. The truth settled between them like ash after fire. Bruno walked back toward her slowly. Then stand with me. I am, she whispered, but don't make me fight ghosts you refuse to confront. He reached for her face again, but this time she didn't pull away. Tell me what you need, he said. No more half-truths, she answered immediately. No more protecting me by pushing me aside. If it's ugly, I want to see it. If it's dangerous, I want to know. You're not afraid. I am, she admitted. I'm terrified. He swallowed. So am I. They stood there, fear finally spoken instead of masked. Outside, the world continued dissecting them. Inside, something more honest was forming. Not perfect, not stable, but real. His phone buzzed again, this time from the label's executive board, requesting an emergency meeting. He glanced at the notification, then back at her. This is the part where they try to control the narrative, he said. Are you going to let them? She asked. He stared at her for a long moment. No, he said finally. I'm going to tell them I'm done playing single. Her heart pounded. That's not damage control, she whispered. It's ownership. She studied him carefully, searching for hesitation. There was none. Just determination, and fear he refused to let win. Then whatever happens, she said quietly, stepping closer until their foreheads nearly touched. We face it together. He let out a shaky breath. Together. The word felt heavier than any headline. And as the morning light filtered through the curtains, illuminating the cracked phone on the floor and the chaos brewing outside. They both understood that jealousy had only been the beginning. What they were stepping into now wasn't just scandal. It was war against an illusion the world had fallen in love with. And this time, neither of them intended to hide.